Greetings, one and all. Luvthemknives channel here. Got a new series now we're going to start called LTK Backwards. Now, this is where you can go to the very end of the video and then play it backwards. And other than me sounding like I'm speaking an ancient language, it'll make more sense because we're starting at the very end. No, we're starting at the final end of the disassembly and working our way backwards. But this is the way, actually, I'm just kidding you. I got the Reate Tiger, and then I was looking at it and I go, oh, how do I take this SOB apart, right? I'm going to do this. This is weird. And I was like, there's nothing here. There's nothing there. I can take this pivot, but obviously this is attached to something. How does this go together? I don't know. Well, the only video I could find was a video, I think, from Crane's Cutlery, which, of course, Alvin Lee is the designer on this knife, as well as the designer on the T1000. So, okay, so I was looking in the bag with the Reate Tiger gear and I'm going, okay, so this weird shit. Okay, there's weird shit in here. There's this, okay, and so you got the little keyhole shaped thing here and then this little thing. So this goes here. And then, of course, the actual piece that you take off, which is maybe this one, actually. Yeah. Now, see the little, this goes here, and now I just throw it on the, back down here, right? Okay, here it is. Okay, so this goes here, and it fits right here, okay? These little notches fit where these little notches are. At first, I didn't notice, and I tried it at the front. Notice that the separation here, these little separation pieces are wider here. So this thing does not fit on the front presentation side because these little notches are narrower and they won't fit there. They fit there, which this was on the back, okay, on the lock side, okay? But see, these little pieces here are narrow enough to they fit here, but they don't fit the front end. If you get, okay, now I got it, okay. So, you take the pivot screw off. Okay, but the thing is that doesn't let you take the knife apart. Now, if you've watched some of this stuff, then you'll know that there's a trick to it, and you got to do that. I just want to walk you guys through this so that you'll know. And if you've been interested enough to buy one of these, then you already know. But they give you a tool here, okay? Now, this is a T6 on this end. I think this might be a T8 on this end. Probably. Okay, so, but there's that. And then, of course, this little piece here is a T8. And then you got this little part. And it goes here, so it'll give you some torque, you know, if you're going to undo the pivot deal. Okay, but that's also a T8. Now, this is a T6. And the deal here is that it's a nice long one. Okay, and there's a reason for that, right? Because you got to reach down through the knife and unscrew the screw and the screw here that are back in here. Okay, I've got them laid out in here. These two screws actually screw into this backspacer, and there's a bracket on this side. See that bracket? It all pops into here, and then you screw in the screws there, and that combines these two halves together. So those screws have to be the first things that come out. Or you could just unscrew the pivot on the backside, push the whole pivot out, and that way you can take that blade out, which might be safer to do, right? And then unscrew these back pieces, and then you can pull this apart, right? So here's these brackets. Now you can take these off if you want. I mean, I don't want, but you could if you want, okay? And see, there's where these screws that I just showed you back here, where they go in. Now, okay, so, and then obviously if you want to take the inlay off, then you can loosen these screws because it's all mounted from the inside. Nice, very, very clean look, right? And then you see this little hole and this little hole. They line up with this pin and this pin here. So it all goes together in a very lovely way. And then you put the screws in, and but I would say, first of all, you got to put your pivot back through with your bearings and everything. So this is your multi-row ceramic bearings, which is very nice. Okay, that's very nice. And then of course this is your little pivot surround. And I forget if this is actual Moku tie or just a, flame anno kind of looking thing. But, and then this is your pivot that goes from the front, and this is your pivot screw that's in the back. Now, let me take a look at this. Okay, so there's a squared off looking place here, and there, and there, and there. So, and this is your lock side, this is your presentation side. So you can see you got all this squared off area around here. So that, when this goes in, it's gonna lay down when it lines up, okay? And there it goes. It goes flush now, okay? So now that locks this in place to keep this from turning, okay? But I'm just saying, this, even with, you push the pivot out, which I didn't. The first thing I did is I unscrewed these two screws. Okay, so the blade was actually, I just, had the blade out, which was a little dangerous. And then I took this because this is long as well. Okay, this is my little Reate T6, okay? So I went in and I unscrewed those screws there and there, pulled them out. Then I unscrewed the back pivot screw here, took that out, okay? Then you should be able to separate both sides, but I was having difficulty doing that. I got this kind of separated, but it's not really gonna pop apart very easily with this in place. So I basically just, went in and pushed this pivot on through from the backside. And when it came out, then it was easier to pop them apart. But I still used my little plastic fid, or whatever you want to call it, to kind of, get these things pried away, because these things here, these tabs and pins on this side here, okay, and the tabs are all fit together so nicely with this backspacer that it don't just fall apart, okay? So you got to kind of go back and forth gently to kind of tease it apart, okay? And so this is, like I said, an Alvin Lee design, who also did the T1000. Also, here's your hardened steel insert, right, with ceramic detamp ball. And it's a liner lock, but apparently this is titanium, right? Or they wouldn't be putting in this hardened steel piece there. So, and I reckon we can figure that out. Yeah, there's nothing there. You know what? Ooh, okay, hold on. Well, there's your hardened steel. But if you take that out of the equation, this is not magnetic. Now there is something. Oh, that pin going through there is magnetic. These screws are not, okay? These screws are not, so nope, okay. So probably titanium, yeah, screws, and of course body and bolster and all that stuff, including liner. But then the steel pins here along here are not. And then of course these washers, which come out, okay, they're steel as well. So there's that. And I just thought, what I would do. And the guy that was at, I'll give you the link to his video too, because yeah, he had it apart. Okay, he had the knife apart, and I go, that doesn't help me. I want to know how to take it apart. But by putting this back together, I'll show you, because I don't think he did a reassembly of it on camera. Okay, but I am. So you get to see this. And then we'll actually talk about the knife. I don't know, maybe that should be a whole separate video. But let's do this. And I gotta make sure that I get things somewhat kind of wiped down, cleaned up a little bit. I mean, this is not going to be, expertly done, but it's going to be cleaner than it was when I took it apart. And rotate it enough to get this flush. I'm going to put bearing on. And then whatever I want to take, I might try this again. My Wolf premium, oil. My only thing is that I wish this oil came with a little top that was the same as this on my KPL, like that. That's easier to put on bearings than than this is. Although this now is a big wide ring, so it's easy to do. I mean, that's not a problem. But I'm gonna have to put this together here, and then we'll do this, and we'll put a little bit more Jackie juice on that. And you know what? You're right. I'm gonna get back in touch with them and go, I think I need a different. Now, I think the main thing on this juice is to protect blades and everything like that on the knife. So, and maybe, use as a honing oil, etc., etc. So maybe not so much the bearings, etc. So, okay. But here we got this. Now, we missed anything? God only us, probably, because it's always something with me. It's always something. Okay, so I'm just saying, here we're going to put this together. So you got these pins that got to line up. You got to have these little brackets here that line up with these little deals here, that kind of thing. Okay, so all that, will it really drop in and line up? And it looks like it will. Hold on. And let me just kind of make sure that we try and, okay. Good Lord, we might actually get this done. Hallelujah, you know what I'm saying? Okay, yikes. And, okay, now, your T8, nope. You gotta, no, this is not gonna be that. So let's make sure we got this flush in that squared off area here. Okay, now, you know what? I don't need that right now. I just need to get some turns on the turn. And I want to make sure I've got these threads lined up properly. And that's a little scary right there, isn't it? Because I'm not sure. I mean, I think you might agree, this is not probably your favorite way to do this either. And it just feels like there's more resistance turning this closed than there should be, but maybe not. I mean, I don't have a lot of experience with unique pivots like this. So we'll just give it what we got. It's centered. Okay, now, the situation is that these screws have got to go back in here. Now, I'm just going to, and you know what? I looked at these two screws, and look at them. They look like they're a little bit different depth, right? I think the deeper one was this one back here because it's at an angle, and not so much that one. So I believe when I took it apart, shit now, if I really knew, But let's try that. And you know, it's not going to be easy to show you. You can see number 352, blah, blah, blah over here. Let's kick this around so I can see what the hell I'm doing. Okay, we've got that one laid down. It looks pretty good. Okay, next. I mean, it's just hard to show you that because I need to get some light in there to be able to install it myself. So, and we're going to go straight in with this puppy right down here. Okay, so there it is. So now we're back together. So my recommendation probably would actually be to go back here, unscrew this, pop through, or you can use the tool they give you. They give you this tool, like I think I told you earlier, and pop the pivot through so that you can just pull the blade straight out, okay? Then you can attack these screws under here because you don't want to be, you know, doing things like that with that blade just staring at you. Maybe you could wrap the blade like this if you want, that kind of thing, so you're not going to cut yourself and then you go in and do your thing, right? So however you want to do it, but you got to take these two screws out, and then I think it's easier to pop this pivot on through, okay? And then you've got a wide open where you can take your little plastic thing or whatever and you can tease this apart, because on knives continually, regardless, if they have a long back spacer on them with little placement things here holding them, I always tend to have to tease it apart. You know, here a little, here a little, here a little, you know, just kind of give it an even back and forth over and over to kind of get it to, you know, pop apart little by little, right? Now let's see where we are. There's our lockup at 20 something percent. It's centered. Do I have any blade play? No. Okay. What's the drop like? Looks good. Okay. Okay. We're good. I think we're good. I mean, look at the screws. They look flush. Everything looks good. Okay. I guess, you know, see, if I want to be a bit critical, is that you have this, right? Now, the thing about that is, you know, this, hold on. Well, it's titanium too. But you know, the thing is, I think if you get a little sloppy with this back here, I mean, you could skate around and you could put snail trails around on here. That's why I prefer to have an actual, you know, maybe a number 8 or even a 9 Torx, because it's easy to go right in there, it'll hold, and you can turn, and you don't have as much chance for the thing to pop loose and go skating around. This is a little bit more iffy trying to find, you know, so you're kind of messing around a little bit. And then to continue to keep pressure on this while you're turning this, and let me see if I think I got it plenty good screwed on, didn't I? Yeah, I don't know my own strength. But yeah, I think I got it plenty good on there, and but still the drop's good. But then you gotta go, right? Maybe you're gonna lay some scratches in here or little micro scratches. I don't know. I'll tell you one thing. It's a nice clean look. I'll give you that. And you know, how often are you gonna be popping this apart to do whatever? Well, now that it's not exactly rating super easy on disassembly scale, so this would probably be one that you're not as likely to just pop apart at any given time, and probably not a daily drag around user necessarily, right? Either, because it's so nice. And they're 400 and some dollars a piece, right? At least. And there's some that are in the 800. And then didn't he do a custom, which was like $7,000 or something? So, okay. Okay. I mean, the Timascus one was 800 or 1,000. I don't know. But is this more practical than the T1000? Yeah, probably lighter too, but not by a lot. But probably a more practical user knife. The T1000, when that first was out to kind of tease people before they released it, I mean, everybody was like, oh my God, that is so cool, you know, and the way it functioned with the buttons and stuff and all that. But once it was out, probably a lot of that passion died because it's just a little wonky and it's way heavy and very, very fat. Okay. And then what did they come out with? The T500? I mean, I can't remember. I guess I'll try and put it down here, but it's a smaller one, right? Smaller, lighter, whatever version of the T1000. But then here's the Tiger. And you know what? Nice drop. It's a good looking knife. And, you know, Crane Cutlery, and I didn't mention them earlier. Maybe I'll throw something down at the very beginning of this, but that's not where I got this. I got this from White Mountain Knives, and then, you know, use my LTK discount code for 10% off, right? Which starts getting meaningful when the knife is 400 and some dollars, you know, price. But you know, every time I go to either SHOT Show or Blade Atlanta or whatever, it's Reate's got a booth there and David Deng, of course, but then you got the Crane Cutlery people. And so it's Crane Cutlery has a lot of these variants, and you know, they do a lot of variants on knives that have been around for a while, right? And they have they have a continual flow of Reate models that have been out for 2, 3, 4 years, whatever, that are being redone in more modern handle materials and this and this and this, right? So it's not like Reate's not putting knives out. They are, but a lot of them are just newly redone, rethought of knives that have been out for years, right? So the T1000 and this Tiger are new, right? And like the XO, then the XOK, and now the XOU, which is going to be a utility, and that one in Blade West, right? As kind of all other category. Okay, so I mean, that'll be interesting, and it's going to be very inexpensive, relatively, you know. So and it looks like they're coming out with a group of knives that are going to be in Nitro V with G10 that are going to be in the like $100, $120 range. So that kind of thing. So that'll be interesting as a Reate knife, right? Okay, so let's pick my junk up and move that out of the way. Okay, I moved it out of the way, but I want to go do some stuff here. Okay, I wanted to show you that you get this stuff, okay, with the knife, right? Which is pretty necessary because of the way it disassembles. Here is hardware. Okay, so you get a couple of, it looks like you got 2 washers in here, right? Yeah, you do. And then you got screws and this and that. Okay, so that's good, especially it looks like you get the couple of screws that go in. Well, I mean, there's not many, right? So you're going to get something. And, you know, probably some of the screws, if you saw that backspacer, it was screwed in, boom, 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 along there, right? And those brackets, you know what I'm saying? Along with that's also attaching this backspacer to this side, because we didn't disassemble that. We just pulled this off, okay? So there's that. But you got all this, and then what else did they give you? They gave you a sticker. I thought they gave you a patch. Oh, there it is. There, green patch, red sticker, okay? Then the bag the knife comes in. All this crazy stuff goes in here, right? Includes the extra hardware. And then this is a microfiber cloth, okay? And then this actually holds this, okay? So you get all that with this, all right? And it is a Velcro type setup. There's no zipper, okay? Which is fine with me, to tell you the truth. You know, I've struggled with some zipper pouches in the past, regardless. So, but here it is, folks. And what are we looking at? Is it a large knife? Well, let's check it out. And oh baby, yeah, there's 3 3/4, and I guess that's probably how you'd want to call it. 95, 96 millimeter, okay? But cutting is 95, 96, right? Okay. Okay. And then we're 8 and almost really 8 3/4, close, okay? At 22 centimeters, right? So we got that. Now let's put it to the scale, because obviously this is not a lightweight knife, okay? And there's all kinds of variants, and I'll give you a link to Crane Cutlery and to White Mountain Knives if they have any of these still in stock. And I know Crane did. I think they had this Mars Valley. I think this is the Mars Valley. Fat carbon, but I think they had the Mars Valley. I think they were out of a lot of the Damascus stuff and this and that, which is fine with me. I can't afford it anyhow, or don't want to afford it. And okay, so not 7 ounces, but 6.9, right? Okay, so what is that? Not quite 200 grams, but 195. So it's stuff, isn't it? Okay, so let me see if I can get my calipers out. Okay, now, ooh, yeah. I mean, so it's a handful, isn't it? 16 millimeters. Most knives are around 11 and a half to 12 and a half. Okay, that's 0.63, not 0.46 like the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. You know, this is 0.63. So it's a fatty, right? Okay, so we got 4 millimeter blade stock, 0.15. Yeah, basically 4 millimeter blade stock. So she's a thick girl. I mean, it's some stuff. And let's grab a piece of paper. See, I told you, if you started at the back, at the end, and work your way forward. Okay, and will it cut? No, of course not. It's horrible. And especially with this transition, right, from this hollow grind to this, yeah, I'm proving that we're gonna have all kinds of fun with that. Okay, and so welcome everybody. Love them. I just messing with you, but the tiger. And what is this? I think this is M390. Crap. You know what? I probably better get my paperwork together, because that would prove it. And you know what? Here it is. And is it? Yeah, it's M390. Okay, well, they don't say it on here, which is good. They don't billboard it a bunch. There's Reate on that side. And what does it say there? Not a damn thing. But it has a number on the inside, like we were looking at, 352 here. Here we go, M390. There you go. All you have to, and it disappeared again. I guess it's not visible, you know, one way or the other. Only when half swung open. And so 8.5, okay, 3.5 blade length. Yeah, 3.5. No, that's 3 3/4. But okay, whatever they want to say. And I'm showing you 427. Well, this dog is out of stock now there, but you know, so $42 off, that gets you into the threes. At least it's somewhat of a relief. And what did they have? They had black camo, carbon fiber, and then they had the patterned titanium, and then the regular diamond titanium stuff. Oh, did they have? Nah, nothing else. Okay, forget about it. So they didn't have a lot of variants. Crane's Cutlery does. And so you might want to check there to see what they have available. Yeah, you could carry this. I know it's a little heavy and all that, but you know, this and the T1000 and so many of the Reate knives of the past, they're way cool knives. There's no question about it. And it's amazing that they have time and manufacturing capacity to do this. You know why? Because good Lord Almighty, you know how many OEMs they're doing? Whew, man, they're doing a lot of OEMs. I mean, we could sit there and just scroll for probably 5 minutes continually of all the names that they're OEMing. Amazing. So, oh well, here it is. The Tiger. God only knows what's coming next. Well, I know. It's their G10 line, the XOU, whatever it is, utility XO, and this and that. Those are coming next as well. And then the one that's smaller than the T1000, I haven't looked, but I don't think I've seen that come out yet exactly, or if they're still playing with that idea or whatever. So here's this one. It's a Tiger. It's a beautiful design. It's a hollow grind. There's a lot of, you know, it's a beautiful, it is. It's nice. And the ergos are nice. You know, lockup's good. Of course, no problems with this thing. I mean, it's wonderful. But I just wanted to get more into the disassembly and show you the pieces, parts. God, I hope this helps, okay? All right. You know what we do. We love them knives. So you guys, stay sharp.